Hey, hi everybody. This is my Gaui 330 XS. This one is my quadcopter. This is my first hobby quality aircraft. I first started with the Parrot AI drone that was similar to this, but I mean I outgrew that like in 2 months. So I decided to move on with something more challenging, so I decided to buy this. This quadcopter over here, what I really love about it is like you can pretty much do everything you can do with an RC helicopter, well, without the complication of the gears and the swatch blade and multiple servos and all kinds of crazy settings that you normally do on a regular RC helicopter. You can also do pretty much all the 3D stunts that you normally do with a RC helicopter. The only thing that you cannot do is fly upside down, as far as I know. But pretty much everything else you can do it with this. But I'm not into 3D. I'm mostly, doing, slow passes because I just got into this. I've been to the hobby for 24 years, but I'm mostly done RC cars and trucks, especially off-road. And for the transition to moving from that, I still doing it, not as much as I used to do it before, to this, to flying something like this, it was really painless because there's no gears over here. As you can see, there's only 4 motors in there, and down there you got, like hidden, these little tiny speed controls in each arm, and that's pretty much it. You just hook it up to the this special gyro, and all the speed controls that got hooked up to it, and then you just hooked up the gyro to the receiver and you are good to go. So that's pretty much it, so you don't have to do any kind of special settings with that, and all you have to do is just read the instructions and make sure you're doing everything to what the instruction says. And if you got any doubts about the way everything's set up, all you have to do is just go to YouTube and see all the people that they build the same quadcopter, and you just follow the instructions, and that's pretty much it. So it's this is probably the easiest way to go flying without spending a lot of money. And the nice thing about this, just like any other RC vehicles, you can modify it and put this different kinds of upgrades and modifications, so you can make it fly more stable, and you can do more than just flying. One of the things that I did over here is like I put the standard motor mounts, so it would spread out the motors farther away. Originally this quadcopter used the motors that go mounted at 330 millimeters, from each other, and now they're extended to almost 400 millimeters. So it's just a matter of just changing this motor mount. The motor used to go right here, and now the motor is over here. So it's the same thing on all 4 corners of this. And I also put this all alware extended landing gears, and the next thing is they got these nice springs, so you do a little bit of a hard landing, it will break the fall because of the springs that they got over here. And you can also take off from tall grass, so you don't have to go to a place that the grass have to be really short, or you don't have to go to an area where there's no grass. This thing pretty much you can take off from everywhere. And the nice thing, is the best part, it give it a beautiful look. It looks like kind of like a UFO. The other thing that I did is I put this LiPo alarm over here, and it also tells you how many cells, how many voltage you got per cell, and it tells you the total voltage, and you can adjust it at what point you want this thing to start beeping. Normally when you run cars doesn't matter, they're in the floor. So when you set up the LiPo cutoff on your speed controls, you can set it up to kick no lower than 3 volts. But because this thing is flying, you don't want this thing to go to that point. So I just set it up to start, the alarm to go off when it reach 3.5 volts, and that way, it's going to be enough voltage for me. Let's say that I'm flying this thing far away, at least I'm going to have enough juice to bring it back, because in a couple occasions, I had this thing set up just the same way, you set up the car's LiPo cutoff, and there was no enough juice to bring me back. I had to land it far away, or sometimes I did, sometimes I crashed. Luckily, I didn't damage it or anything, but I just better be safe than sorry. So I just set it up to 3.5 volts. So you got this little tiny push button over here, and you just keep pushing it until you reach the voltage that you want this thing to go off, and you just work just like that. And the biggest and probably most important modification that I did on this thing was the camera mount. This is like the coolest thing that you can do with any RC vehicle, especially the RC vehicle that you have flies. This thing, it got this little servo over here, so you can just tilt the camera down, so you can look down, or you can tilt it up, or you can just keep it level. And this camera right now, you don't see the lenses because you got this little cover, so you just do this, and there we go. You got the camera, up and running. The camera that I'm using here is a Fuji 14 megapixels, and it takes 720 by 1280 videos, 720 HD. And it might not be a GoPro, but for what I pay for this camera, I'm so happy that I didn't purchase a GoPro, because the GoPros, they are so expensive. They cost way over $250, to get like a HD version. And this one, this is just a regular digital camera, and I just paid $100. It's 14 megapixels, real 14 megapixels, no overpolated or any of that stuff, and it takes HD video, so that's pretty much what I need. So it's really inexpensive. So besides RC, I can use it for when I go to activities or everything, so it's perfect. I had to change the servo of this camera mount, because the first time I crashed this thing, I broke the original servo, so I just put a high-tech digital servo in there, high torque metal gears, and it works perfect. You just move the camera with no problem. And the nice thing about this camera mount is it's rubber mounted, so it doesn't really get the vibration of the propellers and the whole aircraft, so that's really nice. Now the thing is, when you got this, you cannot do 3D. If you want to do 3D, then you cannot put the camera mount or the big landing gears. You just better use the small little landing gears that come with this, and just have the camera mount removed, because these little sponges over here that I put on all around, that besides telling me where's the front and where's the back, they also work like landing gears when you're not using these ones. I also put the propellers in the front. I put the yellow ones so it's more visible, so I can tell the orientation of this, because this is the only downside about this. This thing is pretty much the same in all four corners, so you need to know what's the front and what's the back of this. So that's one of the ways you can tell. Some people, they put like little like pinball balls, and they paint in different colors, or they do all kinds of crazy things. I mean, this is a more efficient way in my book to do this. This thing originally came with like a little plastic pipe, and it had like a orange ball to tells you that, but to tells you where's the front. But I just prefer this thing. Is I think it looks cooler, and it's more efficient, and why, in a sunny day you're not gonna miss this. So the batteries that normally I use with this are I use 3 types of batteries. I got 5 batteries so far for this. I got this 2200 milliamps, and this battery weighs 200 grams, and it's a 30C 3-cell. This one is the one that I normally use when I fly with the camera. The other one that I use to fly without the camera, because it's the 40C 1800 milliamps. Now I got 2 of these, and I got 2 of these ones too, and each ones they I bought it by the pairs on eBay. There's an eBay seller from New York, from Brooklyn, and he said, you know, 2 for like $35. Pretty much the same with the 1800s. Now this one's, you know, it's 40C. It gives me more punch. Now I just recently received this one. This one's almost as big as RC card battery. This is a 2650, but it's just only a 20C, and I didn't feel that much of a difference, you know, with the running time. This one weighs 230 grams. This one is 170 grams, and this one is 200 grams. This one is the 2200, the 1800, and 2650. So I guess because of the weight, you know, it just killed a little bit my flying time. So it was giving me pretty much the same flying time that I get with the 2200. So it was around 15 minutes. So I mean, 15 minutes great. You know, normally a regular RC helicopter only give you like 5 or 6 minutes. So you know, this is like a more efficient way of flying. So you can do more flying, you know, with less pain, you know, setting up, you know, all the linkage and all the stuff on a regular helicopter, and it's more simple to work on. You know, you don't have to do. It's not maintenance, you know, intensive like a regular helicopter. Another thing the other thing that I got with that I did with this is I started using first with a Futaba 7C radio, but I felt like I was needing something better for this, so I can control the camera more easier. So I purchased this radio, and this high-tech Aurora 9 is really inexpensive for what they offer. This radio is 9-channel. The receivers are really inexpensive. You can buy like a 7-channel receiver for like $50-something, and it's touchscreen. It's touchscreen. It got these controls over here on the side, these sliders, and this is why I used to tilt the camera, so it's more easier for me to control. You got all these little switches over here that you can program it for the dual rates or whatever you want to do with it. It's a really, really great radio, so I'm really happy of the spends that the way I save money by buying this radio instead of buying, you know, just the 8-channel Futaba or something like that. And it's 2.4. I heard some people, they got issues with this radio with the latency, you know, in regular, you know, 3D helicopters, but I don't really care that much for that. I don't really do 3D, so I'm pretty happy with this, you know, the way it works and everything. So I think this is the way to go. And I saw a lot of people flying quadcopters with this on YouTube. So it's pretty great, you know. I don't feel like I need anything else. So that's pretty much it, you know. If you got any questions about this, you know, you can happily, you know, leave it on the comment section below. And if anybody, you know, want to add any suggestions or anything, you know, about, you know, how I can make this thing better, I will appreciate that, since I've been doing, you know, flying only for the last 2 months. So I'm pretty much new into this, and that's pretty much it. So everybody, you know, just please rate, comment, and subscribe, and have a good one. Take care, everybody. Bye.